Alright, next up is gameplay. I'm going to judge these on gameplay. You know, how easy it was to play the game, how engrossed into the game I actually was playing it, and any glitches or anything that I had with the game. So again, we'll just start with Batman Arkham City. Pretty basic controls, honestly. I will talk about some things I really do like. I do like the fighting system. I don't know, it kind of brought a new thing to games now. When you look at fighting systems, sometimes they either kind of work, they really don't work, or they're just, you know, they're okay. This one's really good. It's user-friendly. It's very easy to use. However, if you have a large mob of people, there's still challenge to it where it's just not an easy beat 'em up. You still have to kind of think. You have to use the counter button when it's right, and you have to use the, you know, tapping the X button to beat 'em up. It looks good, and it's easy to use, and it still requires a little strategy instead of just pressing buttons. So I really like the fighting system on this game. I also like the system of getting around the city using gliding and the grapple hook. That was awesome. Other than that though, it's just like any other game pretty much. Controls just the same. So glitches, I don't really think I had too many glitches with this one, honestly. I didn't play it as much, but as my brother did, Zach. So if you go to Zacky's Sunhawk Games and ask him, he might have had some glitches. I don't know, but I didn't have any glitches with this one, so that was good. Zelda, alright, Wii takes controls pretty good, so I'm thinking this might win, but we'll talk about it. With this, you use the Wii Motion Plus to control the sword. Awesome. I actually felt there's strategy to this game. There's a lot of strategy. You actually have to pay attention. People always try to go into this game, and I actually sat down and watched them just swinging the Wii remote around like crazy, just thinking they're going to be able to hit things like they have before by just tapping stuff, but that doesn't work because the enemies are actually blocking your moves. So you have to actually watch, think, and act as your opponents, you know, block your moves. So it makes you think, and it makes you feel like you're actually in the game, using the sword as you should be. And it's very just engrossing, and I felt like I was right in the game, and I was Link, so it was handled awesome. Use of the nunchuck, it was all easy to use, but you still had to think, and that's what I liked about it. There were a couple of problems though. Every now and then I think the Wii remote wouldn't respond. And one big problem is your arms get really tired if you swing around too much. So when you're using it, kind of be gentle when you're swinging. And in boss fights that require you to use the shield, my arm got incredibly tired because it's like a necessity to use your shield. You actually like have to use that thing probably like 90% of the battle. So I'm sitting there like jutting it forward the whole battle, and my arm's just getting really tired. So that was one complaint there. You also use the Wii remote to like select things and use certain items. That was cool and everything, just like anything you'd expect on Wii. My only problem there was a glitch where sometimes it'd become unaligned. Luckily, they had a very easy way to fix this, where you just point it to the center of the screen and hit the on the Wii remote. Got a little annoying every now and then, but as long as I could fix it, it was fine, and I didn't really notice it all too much. I think that's all I have to say on the controls for each of these games. So, who wins this one? Definitely this game. Zelda wins the controls only because it's so much more engrossing than the other game is. I actually didn't really feel like I was holding a controller. I felt like I was actually in the game, and it actually made me think more about what I was actually doing instead of Batman. So I'll give Zelda the point for controls. So far it's 2-1, and we'll keep talking about what we're doing here. Whoops. I left the games down here. Okay, so the next category is going to be the main character of the game, and they're actually both on the front of the cover, so there you go, Link versus Batman. Kind of an odd matchup. What I'm going to be judging here is just the character themselves, how they progress during the game, if they actually do, and how much I care about the actual character. And to be a character, you have to have a lot to you, and we're going to be looking at just how, I don't know, I use a lot of things like you would do when you're reading a book. Do they make sense? Do they have a lot of characteristics? Do they stand true to like the character they are? They're not all over the place, or they're not confusing and don't make any sense unless they're supposed to be, like Joker or something. But just look at that. So first we'll go with Batman. Batman follows what Batman should be. He's dark. He's very, I don't know, confident in his abilities, but he's not arrogant. He's awesome, and I'm glad that they got the guy who plays his voice, whose name slips my mind at the moment, to come back and play his voice. That was awesome. He does a great job, and Batman in this game stands true to what the character today should be. He's not the goofy Adam West or, you know, all the old Batmen that were just, they were goofy. I guess they were supposed to be for the time, and I don't have a problem with that. But today's Batman, he's dark, and he's supposed to strike fear into his enemies, and his character is done very well in the game. He feels like Batman should feel, kind of real. So it was handled well. I actually care to him. So yeah. Next, we'll talk about Link. Link is Link. The only problem I have with Link is he never talks. All he does is grunt and it's kind of hard to accept him as a character for me sometimes. I wish he would talk a little more. He has some facial expressions. You know what he reminds me of is Isaac from Dead Space. Not a lot of character there. One can make the argument though, because he doesn't talk as much, you actually can put yourself in his shoes. That was a feeling for me in this game. I actually felt like I was more him than he was actual a character, so it was me playing the game instead of, you know, there being an actual character. But that's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at the character. We're not looking at, oh, am I a good character? No, we're looking at the main character of the game. Sadly, Link lacks a lot for a character. He doesn't really have a lot to him. The only thing we really see about him is he's very persistent, and he's what a hero should be. He's not going to give up in the face of disaster or anything. But Link's been like that for a long time, so I mean nothing's changed. I think if Link would talk or had a little more to him, he would have been a better character. But I got to give Batman yet another point for the main character, just because they show more and they show Batman through his hardships and how he takes everything, and I just like the character better. So Batman gets another point, 3-1. I think we can look and see what's going on here, but we still have a lot of categories to go. I think a few, and so we're just gonna keep going.